Hello. Hey everyone. I haven't been on here for a little while and I've missed talking to you. I was just outside. As you can see, I'm still wearing my chapeau. I was talking to Spirit and talking to myself, not out loud necessarily, and was remembering a couple of questions that I've been asked recently. And usually, if I have, two or three clients asking me the same question, in a short period of time, I figure it's like an energy that's out there and it needs addressing. And I thought I would try to explain the answers to these questions because most likely more of you are thinking about this or have thought about this or have asked about this. So, question number one was, if someone that I have had in my life, a partner, a child, a parent, or whatever, has transitioned and passed on, and they have reincarnated into a new life, can I still communicate with them as they were in the lifetime that I knew them in? Does that question make sense? So somebody you know or somebody you loved has passed on, and now they have reincarnated into a new life within your lifetime. Can you still communicate with them as the person that they were in this lifetime? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. Happens all the time. Now, we may or may not be aware of the fact that that person has reincarnated, but a lot of times they have, because some of us like to make quick turnarounds and come back to the planet shortly after transitioning. Some of us decide not to come back, and some of us take quite a long time, maybe centuries in 3D years, to come back. But the way that I best can explain to you why you can still communicate with them, even though they are reincarnated into a new human, is because energy cannot be destroyed. So the frequency and the energetic frequency that they were at while they were on the planet as you knew them, that frequency, that energetic tangent, string, or however you would explain it, cannot be destroyed. So you can still communicate with them. They can return to you, let's say in a vision or in a visitation, or in their energy and sending messages exactly as you knew them and who they were to you. So that relationship and that beingness cannot be destroyed. So I hope that that answers that. And if you have any more questions about it, you can put a little comment in the comment section after I've uploaded it to YouTube, or ask me on Instagram if the video happens to be there. But essentially, there are people who do know. Okay, I'll speak about myself because I know that best. So my mother, my birth mother, who passed on when I was 5, was reincarnated into this lifetime, in my lifetime again. And I know who she is. And I always speak to my mother as I knew her when I was a child. So she still is able to, she's still my ancestor. She's still an energy that I can connect with as she was back then. Even though I don't have a lot of memories of her. I mean, I do have memories, and they're quite strong memories, but I don't have like 1,000 memories because I was quite young when she passed on. So we still communicate. She still helps me along. She still is available for me anytime that I need her, and she appears to me within that frequency that I knew her in. So I know of others also whose children have passed on, and they have had very, it's a lot of trauma, and they do have a special relationship with that human. So it is kind of, when they did kind of feel that that person, that child had reincarnated into a new life, it kind of felt like a severance. And so I just wanted to reassure you that you cannot lose that connection to that frequency. That frequency cannot be destroyed once it's incarnated, and once that frequency and energy has been on the planet or within the universe, within our universe. there it is. It's always there. And it can move on and shapeshift, but it'll always still remain in its own, initial energy. So I know that that's kind of a lot and it can be confusing, but if we try not to think about it with our human mind, it'll make sense. If you kind of speak through to your higher self or ask yourself during dream time, you may be able to get even a clearer explanation than I gave you. So that's that. And then the other question has been about timelines and when we reincarnate, do we incarnate always into the future? And the answer to that is no, we can incarnate to the past or the present or the future. And I don't personally know enough about quantum physics myself to be able to explain that. Like I think Einstein said, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't understand it. And so I definitely can't explain this to a 5-year-old. But I can explain it enough for it to make somewhat sense in that all lives, past and present and future, are all happening at the same time. So how I visualize that is in layers. So here's the present and here's, let's say that's the future, let's say that's the past. So it's not on a timeline like this, it's on a timeline like this. And so everything's happening at the same time, just in a different dimension. So if you might come back next time and you might be in the 1400s. You might come back and you might be in 2065 or whatever. But you'd be still in the present moment. So, that brings up another thing, when people say, oh, I feel like I was Cleopatra. And then everybody's like, oh, 100 other people are like, oh, I think I was Cleopatra or I was Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is very popular. Everybody wants to be Joan of Arc. Well, the truth is that within our cellular memory, we have the memory of every single thing that has ever happened on the planet and of every being that has ever incarnated on the planet. So we do have that in our cell memory, and we can tap into that energy and that frequency. For instance, I can tap into Poland during the Holocaust, even though I wasn't born until 17 years later. You might be able to resonate with a specific historical figure who you know that you've experienced that in some way, shape, or form. And so you may have been that person, or you may have the cellular memory of that time period, or a very vivid memory of that historical figure or whoever that was, because it may be like not Joan of Arc, maybe just some regular person. And I think that, like people always ask that question, why is everybody Joan of Arc? Why is everybody Catherine the Great? Why isn't everybody just Joe Schmo when they reincarnate? And the reason for that is because those people, those historical figures are, part of an archetype at this point. And we are very much connected in our minds. We are very much connected to archetypes. That's how we make sense of the world. That's how we understand things. And archetypes help us to organize things as to what is happening on the planet and how it's happening. So in that case, because it is an archetype and a very strong archetype, a lot of people really tap into that energy, and sorry about that. And they are resonating with the wisdom or the lessons of that frequency. And a lot of people like to tap into those frequencies or those archetypes because they do have something to learn from them. It may be helping them on their particular life path. They may have wisdoms to gather from that particular person who has lived through particular lessons, because we're all here to for certain lessons, and a lot of the time we're repeating the same lesson over and over in each lifetime, until we get to a point where we're like, okay, we're done with that. We don't need to learn that anymore. Thank you very much. Anyway, so yeah, again, in the comments, people, if you have any more questions for me, or let me know if this made absolutely no sense, that's fine too. But absolutely enjoy and love being with you here and answering your questions. And I think I'm going to do that going forward, answer questions, because I'm just going to gather them up, and then when there's a bunch that seem relevant, then I will answer that question. So thank you very much. Thank you for being with me. I'm losing my voice at this point. Maybe we'll go make some tea. Solstice is coming up. Big huge hugs to you guys. Love you.